7 damage. Oh, wow. Opponent takes the shot for 14. Yeah, that's a thing. Tell me we hit 0. Wow. Whiff. That's the whiff. Oh. Today on Commander Replay, Dinosaur Week is back, and Gishath Suns Avatar is ready to tear down some electric fences. Next on Commander Replay. Commander Replay merch, now available in orange and colors beside orange. Welcome back, everyone. Dinosaur Week number 2. After 4 years, it's back. So as you can see, we're playing Gishath Suns Avatar. Let's take a look at this opener. Don't care for it. We're gonna mulligan that. Into 2 lands. 2 lands scroll rack seems fine. As long as we catch a 3rd land, we're into cultivate, and I feel pretty good about that. And then after that, harmonize. So that all seems good. We'll keep. So in case you didn't know, the new Jurassic Park movie opens this Friday, or maybe it's Thursday, this weekend. Whatever day they start playing movies now, I forget.
Genetic power has now been unleashed.
We made a terrible mistake.
The doomsday clock might be about out of time.
And I'm incredibly excited about it. I'm also incredibly excited about this 3rd land that we just drew. So we'll play the Scalding Tarn, crack the Scalding Tarn, get something red and green that comes in tapped. Shelter Thicket seems like the one. And we'll pass like that. Anyway, it's really difficult for me to describe to you how excited I am for the new Jurassic Park, let alone that the 2nd Top Gun came out last week, which was also fantastic. So anyway, yeah, long story short, new Jurassic Park movie equals new Dinosaur Week. And so the plan is to check out some of the ones that I haven't played before, but I'll probably mix in a few classics as well. So we're gonna have some cool videos this week. Be sure to stay tuned. Anyway, it brings it back to our turn. There's a Kazul's Fury. Let us play this Bloodstained Mire, crack this Bloodstained Mire, get a Taiga, cast Scroll Rack, and we'll pass like that. 3 visits for opponent, they get themselves some ramp. Nice quiet early game out of everyone, can definitely appreciate that. No one running away with it on turn 2. Smuggler's Copter, yeah, decent card. There's a Sky Shroud claim, that is more ramp. Ramp is good. Play the Sacred Foundry, untapped, cast the Cultivate. I'm gonna get a Forest and a Plains, I think. Plains into play, Forest to hand, and we'll pass like that. Next turn, probably looking at the Sky Shroud claim. Ristic Study for opponent. Yeah, that's a good one. We'll have an extra mana to pay for it, so that's cool, right? We've got some other stuff to talk about in this video, too. We've got a lot to talk about today. I just got back from Dreamhack in Dallas over the weekend, and if any of you are familiar with Jonathan Young, he's a YouTube cover musician. He played at Dreamhack Saturday night, and I got to meet him, and the next day I played 2 games of EDH with him, and it was really cool. I got to talk to him about some stuff. His manager was also hanging out right next to him. His manager had all kinds of good stories, so got to play some Magic with Jonathan Young. It was pretty cool. I'm very excited about it. I also did the Q&A session that him and Caleb Hiles did, and definitely picked up some interesting tidbits. So the whole thing was super cool, and it really made my weekend, so yeah. Pretty awesome. If you don't know Jonathan Young, you should definitely go check him out. Opponent casts their commander. They've got Ishin with haste. Didn't see how exactly. What's giving that haste? Oh, opponent's got an Anger in the graveyard. Okay, yeah. So opponent casts their Ishin. They tap it to the Smuggler's Copter. They attack with the Copter, get 2 triggers, do the thing. And with that, that brings it back to our turn. There's a Reliquary Tower. We'll go ahead and play that. Let's play the Sky Shroud claim. And we'll pay the 1 for the Ristic Study. We'll get some more ramp. We'll get a... I don't think we really have anything to do, so we'll get Cinderglade and Scatter Groves. Anyway, one of the insightful things that came up during the Q&A is someone asked about burnout, and Caleb Heil said he leans on the people around him to kind of pull him out of a funk if he's in one. Jonathan Young, on the other hand, he said, you basically become one with the burnout, and I do know a little bit of what he's talking about. It's definitely that trade-off of, this is the thing that I want to do, but you do need to sacrifice a lot of time to do it, so I don't know. I thought the whole thing was interesting. It was really cool. I had a good time. Also at Dreamhack, I did a draft of Baldur's Gate, and I got to play with that a little bit. Ended up winning the pod. There was no prize support on the line for that one. We just did equal participation for the prize points. But walked away with a couple packs of Baldur's Gate, and cracked a Legion Loyalty in there, which is pretty exciting. Can't wait to get that one down in the game. But I also really want to draft the set again and just draft every great sword of tier and just get like 8 of them into a deck and put them on a 2/2 and watch the 2/2 go to town. That card is really cool, and I think it's going to be a solid choice for a lot of Voltron decks, especially ones that don't have flying. It's so cheap to cast and equip, It's 2-in-1, and it gives you size and taps down blockers, and those are both really good effects. Especially relative to its cost, which is basically nothing. Opponent's doing some stuff over there, so Tangarth comes in, and opponent's got a Hammer of Nazan on it, so it's indestructible. Yeah, this should be spicy. They've got a Springleaf Drum also. How does this work? This is Sean, by the way, who I got to visit while I was in Dallas, because he lives in the area. So many stories this week, so much to talk about. Anyway, Tangarth, he has this deck in paper. It turns out it loses a lot of steam in 1 vs. 1, but it does say, whenever an opponent attacks with 1 or more creatures, if Tangarth is tapped, you may have that opponent gain control of Tangarth until end of combat. If you do, choose a player or planeswalker that opponent is attacking. Tangarth is attacking that player or planeswalker. So as these things go on the attack here, there's going to be a Tangarth trigger, and someone's going to get blasted with a Tangarth. Also, 2 more Smuggler's Copter triggers. By the way, a Shurikai came in last turn, and that is Professor Mobius piloting Shurikai. That is their commander. Really interesting deck, one that I've meant to play on the channel and just haven't got around to it. I think someone sent me a list that I do need to film with that. So, being that we're doing Dinosaur Week, that'll probably be a project for next week. Brings back to our turn, that is a Zakama. Zakama is super nasty. Like, the most nasty. Play this forest. We only have 8 mana currently, so we can't cast Zakama yet, but next turn, probably? I guess. We are a land short. There are ways to get to that land. Opponents are tapped out right now, which means we slam Gishath. That is the play here. D-Manny blasted Professor Mobius really hard with that last attack. It's dinosaur time. Can't pay for the Rhystic Study. I'll swing this one into D-Manny since he's fairly aggressive, and Tangarth is the thing here. Also, the Tangarth makes it so, like, if he's going to block, it probably makes more sense to block the Tangarth because it doesn't have trample, although there is something to say about blocking the Gishath. Sadly, we don't have the extra mana to activate the Scroll Rack. Although I guess we only have the Zakama in hand, and you kind of want to cast that one. 7 damage! Oh, wow. Opponent takes the shot for 14. Yeah, that's a thing. Tell me we hit 0. Wow. Whiff. That's the whiff. Oh, all the big stuff, too. Farewell, Duelist Heritage, True Conviction. Ouch. Ouch. D-Manny's down to 23. This is going to be a quick game. Unless someone plays some removal here. We do have removal. Time Warp is a card. By the way, the ending play in that Baldur's Gate draft that I did, I had gotten dismantled a bit, so the table went around killing everyone else, because I was able to have a blocker and just not be the threat, that whole thing. And when it got down to 1 vs. 1, the kid blasted me for like 20. I was at 6, and he was somewhere in the teens. I think he was at like 19 or something. So I attacked, and then I fireballed him for 14, a fireball that I had been holding since the opener. The amount of patience that I displayed right there was incredible, because there were many points that I wanted to use it throughout the game, and I'm just like, no, we need to hold on to this. This is going to be the thing. The second this game stalls out, this literally says kill a player. So he went on the big attack. I attacked him back for a little bit and then blasted him for 14. And he was not thrilled about it. He was a good sport about it, but I could tell he was a little disappointed because he thought he had the game. Me and my red cards. It was a good time, though. I did sign up for a second draft, but it never actually fired, and that was when Jonathan Young was looking for some EDH games, so I bailed out of that draft and played some Commander. He got to see how my tap creature tribal deck works, and realized that it's a complete show around turn 10. He then showed me how his Yuriko deck works in Game 2, so that one ended up being kind of quick. But, yeah, it was a good time. Opponent's got a Feast and Famine coming in, and it's going to free equip. Yeah, I mean, I don't like this at all. None of this is good. None of this is good. Yeah, here comes a shot for 9. No big deal. This coming turn, I'm thinking about something like Harmonize, Return to Dust. There's the Feast and Famine. That Feast and Famine is going to be a real big problem because D-Manny can also get a really big attack in on us. Kazul's Fury, I think, is the least valuable card in our hand right now. You know, I still want to build Gishath in paper, and I've never done that. What's it been, around 4 years now? Someday we'll get there. Someday. Adeline Resplendent Cathar. Yeah, that's a good card. I did face an Ishin deck in one of the games of EDH that I played, and the kid had some interesting cards in the deck. I gotta try to remember what they were. There's that new red enchantment out of Kamigawa that whenever a creature attacks alone, you exile a card, and I think you can play it until end of turn. That one seemed decent. He had something else in there, too. He said it was just like Mardu cards he owns, but they were pretty good. There was like a Terror of the Peaks floating around. If I didn't have an Achroma's Will that gave me pro-red, I might have been very scared. Yeah, that's a big attack. That is a lot of stuff. Double Smuggler's triggers, double Adeline triggers, the Tangarth trigger. I have a feeling that Tangarth's probably coming. Oh, wow, that's going to put us on 18 Commander if it comes our way. That's all a thing. There's 14 on Professor, so if he doesn't have Bounce or something, then he might just be out of the game. And if I'm D-Manny, he can go either way here. He can put us on 18 Commander, which is scary, or he can just take Professor out of the game. Or at least attempt to. There is double blue open here. Got 11 cards in hand. Any Bounce spell, I'm sure, would be a sight for sore eyes for Professor. Adeline and Deshawn, the 1/1s our way. He did not assume control. Wait, I don't really know what's going on with this Tangarth right now. I can't tell where the Tangarth's attacking. We can block a token though, so we'll block a token. Down to 26. We did not take a Feast and Famine hit. That is thankful. I'm not sure what happened with the trigger. I don't know if is it a May? You may have that opponent gain control of it. Okay, it's a May. They can choose no. Reanimate on Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. That's kind of disgusting. I really thought we were past all of this because when Gishath came out, the main problem that Gishath would run into is Eldrazi, because the Eldrazi are much bigger than your dinosaurs. Now, there are better dinosaurs now. There's been quite a few printed since Gishath originally came out, but Ulamog is still bigger than just about all of them. And so, as a 10/10 indestructible, that's just a nightmare for us to attack into, which I don't love. And also, it's going to like blast through our library and do tons of damage and all that stuff. So, none of that's great either. Didn't catch a land. We're still a land short of the Zakama. I'm thinking about something like Garruk Primal Hunter, draw 7, and then hopefully catch a land in there, and then Return to Dust. Getting rid of those two, but that doesn't solve the Ulamog problem at all. But I guess if we just get like a whole bunch of dinosaurs in play, that could be a thing too. Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. Opponent's kind of in a rough spot, so we'll let them draw with the Rhystic Study. They do have 13 cards in hand. They haven't really ramped for the most part, though. Maybe a little bit off that Time Warp, but yeah, we'll draw with the Garruk. The one thing this deck is missing right now is interaction. It does not have as much interaction as it should. Probably needs a few more protection spells, a little more removal, but I was really just trying to jam all the dinosaurs in there, so that's what we've got. Play the Temple Garden. Pay 2 life. Return to Dust. Wear Tear does not kill both. I mean, I guess we probably just need to stop the Feast and Famine. Does this thing have Vigilance? It does have Vigilance, okay. So that's the thing we can do. We could Wear Tear at an inopportune time for our opponents, which I kind of like, which also leaves us the mana to Scroll Rack. Man, I wish we had one more for this Savage Beating. And I realize it's turn 6 and we're on, what, like 9 mana? So we have definitely ramped, but yeah, it's a big curve deck. Needs a lot of mana to operate. Didn't draw too many of the low curve things in the deck. Farseek's showing up a little bit late right here. Yeah, okay. Sean's got a bunch of open mana, which I don't love. Hopefully we don't just get demolished here, but we're going to send this into Sean. Tangarth trigger. There's the Gishath trigger. With that on this stack, we're going to activate Scroll Rack. This is always fun. We'll put the Brontodon and the Zakama on top. Put on top, put on top. There's a 7 damage. We accidentally drew another one that we kind of wanted on top. Oh, this is the one we wanted, too, because it would get rid of all these 1/1s. The ramp one. Okay, I mean, we did okay. We did okay. We got 3 dinosaurs. I guess it could be worse. We do miss Decimate, Fervor, and a Signet, though. The Dilophosaurus pictured in the first Jurassic Park movie is one of the most inaccurate in the entire franchise. It did not spit poison, it did not have a frill, and it was much larger, about the size of a bear. But before you get too upset at Steven Spielberg, it's important to remember that he was not shooting a nature documentary, he was making a really good movie. Topiary Stomper, that's a new one out of New Capenna, is a 3/3 with Vigilance, ETBs, get a land, can't attack or block unless you control 7 or more lands, which we do. Yeah, this seems really good for a dinosaur deck. Get a Plains, and we'll continue to sit on that Wear Tear. Opponent's going to activate their Shurikai. Sure. I'm sure looking for answers. You know what? We're going to have to discard a bunch of cards, so I think I'm actually going to fuse this Wear Tear right now. Get rid of the Feast and Famine, get rid of the Rhystic Study. And this will make us have to discard one less card. Mangara and Rhystic Study both trigger. Feast and Famine down, Rhystic Study down. Still an Ulamog problem. Iroas and Savage Beating gives us a reasonable... Oh, we have Reliquary Tower. We don't have to discard. Whoops. Forgot we played a Reliquary Tower. Oh man, I wish I held that thing now. Hopefully that doesn't bite us. Opponent activates Shurikai. Discards a Decree of Silence. That's a really nasty card. Gilded Lotus. Teferi, who slows the sunset. Oh, this should be interesting. Gonna untap their land and their Gilded Lotus, so they have mana to protect themselves. Seems good. They're going to tap down the Adeline. Also, the Ulamog. Man, opponent made a lot of mana over there. 8 mana in the pool. That's an Ugin the Spirit Dragon. The good news here is that 2 of our creatures are big enough to survive an Ugin minus. That's 8 and that's 9. So even if they go for all 7, yeah, they're going to go for the minus. They only go X3. That does clear out a lot of these tokens, the Adeline. They leave the Mangara. Probably would have went 4 there. Oh, they're probably trying to save their Planeswalker. Okay, I see what they're doing. That does clean out a lot of the aggro. That actually isn't too bad for us. Yeah, Ishin's gone too. Ulamog's still running around, and Ulamog is a problem, but now we're less likely to get overrun with tokens and everything else. So that seems good. I think Savage Beating has the ability to take this game home for us. These two both have Trample. Yeah, that's a thing. Hull Breach on our Scroll Rack and the Oath of Teferi. Annoying, but not the end of the world. We've already done the damage. As long as our creatures stay in play, I feel pretty good about what's happening. Won't feel so good about taking an Ulamog hit. And we have... I think we have the most to lose to an Ulamog attack right now. Either we lose a bunch of life or we give up a pretty good creature. Tangarth can stay back if he wants to. And that can actually block. Got tokens over here. D-Manny says, "You fool! The hunger is ceaseless." Solemn Simulacrum. That's a very passive play for the current spot in the game. Maybe they're just thinking blockers, but like we've got 2 tramplers. I actually wonder if this is going to be the leave Ulamog back as a blocker play, because, I mean, they're at 13. With what we have, the Tangarth, it probably makes more sense to not go anywhere. Let's see what they do. They don't know we have an Iroas and a Savage Beating, but on the other hand, you wouldn't have to be that smart to figure out that I've probably got some nasty stuff in the 9 cards in our hand. Going on the attack. Not our way. Very interesting. The good news is, opponent's tapped out right now. This should probably get rid of any like free cards that might be an issue. Free bounce. I guess it doesn't need a free counter, but, you know, if opponent has, what's that card, Snap or something like that. On the other hand, I guess they just block with a 1/1. And no harm, no foul. That's a Godzilla King of the Monsters. We're going to hold off on that for just a moment. Play the Cavern of Souls. Choosing Dinosaur. Yeah, we've got a Wrecking Crew. I think we go a Wrecking.
I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit.
Cast this Iroas. Go to combat. Oh man, I almost miscounted the mana. I forgot. Savage Beating is 7 to entwine. And I briefly forgot about that, but we have exactly 7 mana left, so we're okay. D-Manny can block 1. We'll send the Zakama his way. I guess if he's got a Swords or a Path, that would be bad for us. The Gishath over to Mobius. And I guess this thing over to Mobius. That should be lethal on him. Then we'll Savage Beating. A very expensive card in paper. 65 last I looked. Hopefully it's come down, because that seems like a very inflated price. It's good. I don't think it's $65 good. There are plenty of other extra combat spells that are far cheaper than that. Waves of Aggression still sadly very expensive. Aurelia also expensive, but if you want budget, Response Resurgence is probably the best and cheapest one to go with. Though Relentless Assault still gets it done, right? Like Relentless Assault is just so simple at 4 mana. It's nice. Opponent's going to make 2 1/1 Spirit tokens. That's fine. Not at all worried about that. We got a lot of trample coming through. Don't you even have a fog? Valakut Awakening. Digging for an answer. That's fine. Only 1 card in hand. He can dig all he wants. By all he wants, I mean 1. He can dig 1. I guess he's at 2 cards now. Opponent's gonna double block the Zakama. That's not enough to keep him alive, though. It does have trample. He would have needed to block with all of his things to survive that. I don't know if he missed the double strike, maybe? They're gonna crew the Copter. I think it's too late, though. There's the first hit. D-Manny's down to 6. Gishath does 6. Alright, we have this weird Doran dinosaur in play. You know, this one might be worth cutting. I was looking for something to cut earlier. That might be the one. Here's some really cool dinosaurs. Haze! Oh, God. Haste? Wow. Alright, things have just spiraled. I mean, we were already in a good spot. But now things will be really crazy. Rawr. D-Manny said he forgot trample. Yep, that's, he definitely forgot one of the keywords. Understandable. We have many. Double Strike, Menace, Haste, Doran, Vigilance, Reach, and Trample. Yeah, that's some stuff. Verdant Suns Avatar and Trapjaw Tyrant. Both players go down right there. Gain some life off the Verdant Suns Avatar. I forgot how much this deck spirals. Like, I guess the thing here is that no one shot Gishath at any point, and if Gishath dies, the deck is very different. When Gishath doesn't die, things get silly. Send everything. Doesn't have Settle the Wreckage mana. That's important. Atali. Tangarth. We'll cast this thing. I don't even know what it does. Cast this thing. Oh, this card's cool, isn't it? Yeah, the card's pretty cool. More haste. Oops, that's not what we want. Choosing Dinosaur. Opponent goes down before the double strike hit, even. Yeah, that was a crazy turn. Yeah, Gishath Suns Avatar. It does things. I've updated the deck a little bit. It could probably use a few more updates, like I said. I think the big thing, more protection spells, more interaction, I think is where you want to be. I've got 26 creatures in here. You could probably go down to like 24, 25, get a few extra cards in there. I've got this Insurrection up here at the top. 2 removed blockers. This was back from the Eldrazi days, when the Eldrazi would block the path for you. Again, they don't show up all that often anymore. Depends on your play group a little bit, but something like an Insurrection or Mob Rule is just good for getting the blockers out of the way, because most of your non-Gishath dinosaurs, I guess there's more better new dinosaurs, but the original set of dinosaurs for Gishath weren't all that big and like couldn't always get through, and that's why we have stuff like Iroas in the deck for that reason. But being that they print like 1 or 2 of them every set, there are starting to be some better ones among the weaker ones in the deck, so that's all a thing. We got this guy up here. I was hoping to see this thing. Sadly, we did not. But yeah, the key to this deck, I think, is still multi-ramp in particular. You want cards that ramp 2 or cultivate style cards, because the name of the game is getting to 8 mana with Gishath. Just nothing matters as much as having Gishath in play and attacking with it and getting damage in and casting all the dinosaurs off the top of your deck. That's really all it's about. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to stay tuned for the rest of Dinosaur Week. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.